Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. We have some very interesting conversations on how the industry is planning to take its business lead in the new era of post-COVID. Along with me today, I have Mr. Joseph of Lulu Exchange, and he has been in the forefront of transformation, in the forefront of innovations, and has been driving the key digital and technology initiatives for Lulu Financial. Joseph, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thank you, Mr. Babu. Happy to be here.
Welcome. So Joseph, we have been seeing a lot of changes in the last few months. You must have seen even the same thing in the Middle East and India and all over the world. What are the key trends in technologies these days?
It's very common to actually talk about digitization and the sudden surge of internet usage among all sectors. It's not new, or it's not going to be fresh to actually just go and actually talk about it. But I would like to see I would like to go back and tell what companies, how good companies were prepared with. I call it like this. This was a time of digital shock. We knew actually there was no other option. Digital is the only option. Definitely, the retailers took a big hit. The challenge with new consumers on the e-com is first is they're not very confident on the platform, right? So they order only what is necessary. So it's a test. It's top essential things they order, which means the basket value reduces for any e-commerce people. Then how good your delivery channels are. During a lockdown pandemic time, there should be people for delivery, because you don't have bots yet who can actually, robots who can deliver things yet. It's still a distant far away thing. So so how many companies did have that strong delivery channels in place? These were the things that were going around. It is not about technology alone, whether the business was digitally ready. That was one question. Coming back to an exchange houses and banks, thankfully here, most of the banks and exchange houses were there. They are ready. 2018, 2019 has been, everybody started investing heavily on digital. And India has actually shown us the way. So many of these professionals who come from India, or we have that direct connection with India. So we know actually what the right to pick up. So this region did not fall for the hype. Honestly, they did not actually go and waste a lot of money. At least many of the companies did not go and spend a lot of money on that hype, initial high buzzword or things. And that didn't really happen out in 2018-19. Things were a little realistic. So we could actually handpick right technology companies from India. And India has become, for us, especially working across the globe, we understood Indian companies are, they are there. It's not a matter of getting a good deal and signing and all. We strongly believe the work should happen, or the tough part is not about signing and getting a technology, identifying a technology, signing an agreement. That is just a piece of it. Yes, it's a right thing to do, but the work starts after that. No business is unique. You need to actually have customized solutions. You need to tailor make. You need to change the process. Thankfully, the mindset which the startups in India come out is they do everything for the customer. So one is customer experience. I would say it starts from that vendor. Okay, so if you want a right customer experience, you have to actually find a partner who has that customer experience mindset. So he puts that himself in the shoes of the customer, works with you, and actually works for your success. Okay, so that is what in the result of everything is that company definitely will gain. Thanks to our brand, a few of the brands actually, a few of the companies, startups in India who signed up with us, asked us, they went a real good extent to help us out or to support us in the business. But at the later stage was they came and asked can I use your name as a references? Use my name in our name in the presentations, which we were glad to share. Whoever has done a good job. Now coming back to Lulu Exchange, nobody see this coming in, but we knew at some stage, we knew the brick and mortar would last only another 5 years. That's what my MD always comes and says, Joseph, actually, when you come to office, the first thing you need to actually think is how can you disrupt Lulu Exchange? So he always put that competitive hat on my head. And transformation for us, actually, we call it like, uh, I'd say it's an overused, or it's a little vague word. Like, uh, for me personally, transformation means customer experience. So anything actually you build new for customer or for the customer, then that is transformation. So digital is true. It's actually truth, because actually digital is something which I can see, which I can actually write it down, which we can work on it. But transformation is about like constantly looking at a customer, making their life easier. What else you can do in a remittance? One is you can give a mobile app, a beautiful app with skin, the same. Add n number of payment channels. All that customer requires, like from a payment gateway using a debit card, go online, use your banking account. You can use your wire transfer. You can actually transfer separately into our bank account. That is actually the two-step process. Or we have added another channel where some customers still want to visit our branches. So what they can do is, like, they can do the transfer on the mobile. They have a 4-hour lockdown on the rates. And they can just walk into any of our exchange, any of our branches, drop cash, right? Just like your online check-in, you drop in your baggage. So no questions asked. There is a QR code, just scan, drop cash anywhere in your branch and just walk away. The transaction gets credited within 30 seconds. But payment cannot be treated like a commodity. So what suddenly we realized, like, in this race of between actually digitization, in the technology, we are losing that essence of experience. But nobody is able to give control to that expatriate after that. Like, from here, the money went to the beneficiary's account. Did the money get used in the right way? So what we have done is, we took a particular use case of the women, the ladies actually working in an our own group in a retail industry. We got an EMI license in the Philippines, and allowed the sender, that is the remitter from here, this Filipino lady itself, click of a button, an e-wallet account gets opened in the Philippines. Now, when they send the money, this money is actually moving from her dirham account from a debit card or the bank online account directly into the wallet in her own Philippines account. Now she gets to see both the transfers in the same app. She don't have to switch the app. The Lulu Money app now shows, okay, you have 10,000 pesos right now. What do you want to do? So her preferences is, like, first is pay a school fee. So sitting here itself in the hypermarket itself, she clicks a button, she pays a school fee. Then she pays, saying, like, okay, this is my grocery bill, pay for the grocery. Any other utility payments, everything, click off here. And remaining anything that is for their living expenses sends to her until now. Now, what about now? You're splitting that transfers into micro transfers, like, so many of micro transfers. What we did is, like, for all purposes, we removed the charges. So the first time you load the money, after that, n number of charges within 30 days is waived off. So you can do, instead of doing one fat transfer, we say, like, do you purpose built micro transfers, or actually, you have to coin a better name for it. So that is one thing we've, and we are right now piloting it with our own staff, and we see that excitement on those staff, and actually we see it quite good. So we are also talking to a larger partner here, because we say, like, this is not built to generate revenue. Okay, there is a cost of building the platform, maintaining it, and even every slightest micro transfer would cost us. But actually, we were very adamant that, no, this is not to build profit. This is actually, we are doing it for a cause. Actually, we are doing it to solve a particular problem. We are looking this to now replicate in countries like in India, Pakistan, in Bangladesh. Actually, we want to do it, provided the regulatory allows it. I see, like, in India, still, actually, I can't still do it. Actually, we've been talking to a couple of partners, but actually, from a regulatory standpoint, still it is not open. But we are looking for other options. I'm quite happy to see many of the peers, many of the exchange houses doing quite well in the online, and actually we share our thoughts, and I'm glad, like, many of them in the right way. Thankfully, actually, none of them has fallen for that hype and buzz and going in the wrong way. They understood, like, the painful thing about this is, like, the term online somehow during the past has become, like, online means free. Okay, you know, thanks to many of the Indian e-commerce and wallets, actually, how actually they have done it to a lot of consumers. Uh, that misconception was there before the COVID, hit. So our online channels were not picking up because there's a cost of maintaining the platform, and uh, of course, actually, online platforms and digital platforms keeping it live is more expensive than your traditional legacy systems. So we couldn't do it, and we were not really doing great, but actually our experience was good. We were doing the basics right. But soon after the COVID hit, everybody had to, this was the only channel of revenue. So the free had to stop. Okay, everybody had to come back and start charging. We saw that time lot of customers, even I would say from our parent group itself, our staff itself, a lot of customers who used to call me and say, hey guys, actually that particular online is giving free, why don't you give it free? And I didn't have an answer. Today they call back and say, hey, I have done it, a transfer. Hey, our transfer is now better, huh? Actually the experience is better, it is faster. Then third is, like, I would say, like, uh, large companies, especially large banks, have this tendency of selecting partners and thinking like they will work only with that big fours or big, the large companies which is known in the market. The brand stands out. For me, actually, I would request every CIOs saying, like, please actually, give a chance to this startups. Talk to the founder a few, at least meet them, talk to them for a few hours, and then really understand, because 90% of those people, or majority of those founders, they don't come with an intention to fail. They don't come with an intention to run away. They come with the passion. They come with an intention to say, like, I am here to serve, to survive, to actually see big. So if large banks and large institutions give them an opportunity, okay, that's a risk worth taking. But you can actually tie up your payments and other things accordingly with performance or probably actually it's a win-win situation. Okay, you get the soul of that organization working for you. Okay, that which is missing in many of the large companies. When you work with large companies, that's missing. This founder, this team actually gives everything for you. You get a better product. At the same time, that company survives because actually they get a reference from a large brand, and especially the large banks here, the reference from them values a lot across the globe. So that is one request I would have for all the top CIOs to look forward. I'm sure many of them are doing it, but still actually could do more. That's what my advice is.
Interesting. In fact, self-service is coming up slowly in many of the areas. Have you seen any great uptake for your, remote branches and things like that, or still people prefer to come to your outlets to do the currency exchange and things like that?
The experience has been a surprise for us, actually, because I was always predicting that post COVID, or when things ease up, people wouldn't come back to branch. But I was wrong. We were the first to enable 100% digital and actually zero cost acceptance of debit card for blue collar customers in the region. Okay, so we have our co-branded card for the WPS, which we enabled on our Lulu Money app, and with no additional cost to the customers. Uh, we saw that in the rise by 100 200 percentage, like that from March, April, May, June, it surged. But when branches started opening up, the same customer walks in with that particular debit card directly to our branch, and they love to come. So that was a surprise. Actually, a Friday or a weekend it's like it's going out to an exchange house, uh, taking a receipt printout, showing that, taking that picture, sending a WhatsApp, then actually talking to that particular staff sitting there. When will it reach? Even though actually he got all the message on his mobile instantly, but still he would like to ask that question. If is from Kerala, he like to speak in Malayalam. If it is a Bengali speaking, he like to speak that in Bengali or a Tagalog or equivalent. So that is something they love to do. You can't deny it by actually just giving a mobile app and say sit at home. They would still take the app, still take that contactless card, still they will walk into the branch with everything. I think that's the only lesson thing.
Experience combined with convenience.
Yes, it is. So
So,
we give everything. Now we leave it to the customer. Let them design their experience.
what are the technologies, according to you, which will make trends for the future? Or what would be in your wish list if you want to look like what can be in your wish list in the future?
Okay. Like the remote branches is going to be when you mentioned about the remote branches, that means the video and the advance of video conferencing and mixing it with business is going to be on high side. Today, actually, I was reading about NVideo today, which is actually it's mixing the AI, and the moving away from the H24 to the AI-based video conferencing. So, which actually uses less bandwidth for any particular calls. So that is something which was exciting, but at the same time, it comes with a huge risk, right? So I can go on online. Actually, I can fake myself. Okay, I can impersonate Babu sitting here because if I just need a picture of yours. So we were discussing about deep fake some point of earlier. So these are high risk that probably business need to really consider before using it. So but it comes with its own advantage, but at the same time, you need to actually build that how to counter the deep fakes. That things have to be really put in place. So it is going to come. It's good to have, but I think initially will be used by large companies because of the huge investments they have, and still to authenticate and authorize that particular person's it's going to be challenging. You still don't you still can't actually, with softwares you can't identify deep fakes yet, probably, or it is still evolving. So as long as authentication, authorization with stays with the regulators, it's quite difficult to meet that expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a very interesting way to put forward. Okay, ultimately, you have to keep the cops away if you have to thrive in your life. And keeping the cops away is to basically the best way is to at least do the things right so that the cop does not even think about coming to you.
Yeah.
So that defend and drive is something which is a very interesting strategy, and I think that is the way ahead for the same. From your experience in all these years in Middle East, I think you have spent 20 plus years in IT in the Middle East, and you are still constantly learning. With all these learnings, what would you give as a point of advice to the forthcoming CIOs of the industry? What would you like to share?
Oh my God! Actually, I'm still learning. So actually, I don't have big advices to share. Honestly, actually, I learn from a lot of people around me. I'm thankful that this region has got amazing professionals out here, and I learn a lot. So there's no advice for them. But at least to the youngsters, actually, I would say, like, no matter how what position you hold, uh, understanding the root level of your business is very important, and always be active. Okay, so some point of time, actually, at some level, you can say, like, okay, I can just watch what's thing happening. I think that era is gone. You need to be active throughout the age. As long as things go running, actually, you need to be active on the floor. It doesn't mean actually you have to micromanage, but you need to build mechanisms where you can micro monitor things. So that's only one advice I have.
Don't micromanage, but at least micro monitor. That's
Yes.
really interesting. I have never heard that word, micro monitor. Fantastic. That's a very interesting learning for me also uh, as a professional. I think that's a very good takeaway from this entire session for me. Fantastic, Joseph. Thank you very much for such an interesting session. And we got length and breadth of insights into the market here. And thanks to you for sharing all these great experiences with us. We look forward to more interesting interviews with you.
Thank you, Mr. Babu. Thank you for having me here. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.